Castleton gets his first touch, goes to work, and the jump hook is in. Good start for the Gators.
Welcome back to the program. Frank Frangie with you along with Lauren Brooks and Hayes Carline. That call was Colin Castleton last year, and now there will be Colin Castleton this year. That's big news. Todd Golden is a brand new coach at the University of Florida. Joins us now on the program. Todd, thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm grateful to be here with you guys today.
We really appreciate you coming by. So how's it been? It's been a month. It seems like it's been crazy. You're hiring staff. You're getting Colin to come back. You guys are coming in. I mean, how crazy has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but all really good stuff for the most part. And I'm just grateful that I was able to put our staff together as quickly as we did. Scott Strickland and Linda Teeler gave me the flexibility to bring in a really talented group, and we were able to find guys that wanted to be here quickly. And really, we got our staff hired in the first 2 weeks, which is hard to do. To get people to buy in on the right terms and get everybody organized. But that gave me a lot of confidence to be able to get this program up and running quickly. And we're working on different things every day. Doesn't feel like it's slowing down anytime soon, but that's okay, and we're enjoying it a lot.
Todd, all the conversation was about the fact that Colin Castleton came back. Most thought that he wouldn't. He tested the waters a year ago,
right?
But came back right away. Obviously, he's got the labrum issue.
Sure.
Tell us about your conversation with him and why he came back.
You know what? From the day I got here, I identified Colin as a guy that would be amazing if we were able to kind of get him to see why this was a good opportunity for him to spend a fifth year with us. And, as we talked off air, had an opportunity with a young man in San Francisco, similar situation. He came back. It ended up being a great experience for him. With Colin, his situation was a little different, had his shoulder issue that he had to battle through. But sometimes when you slow down, that's the best way to go instead of, chasing the NBA or running up there quickly when you're not fully prepared or you don't have, all the resources you need from a health standpoint. So we just talked about the vision of the program, kind of how we envision the next 12 months going with him being really a vital cog to what we want to do. Try to help him expand his game a little bit, give him the freedom to do that. But really, he loves being a Gator. He loves being here. I think he could see himself here having fun for an additional year. And, we have some good momentum recruiting already to get the right pieces around him and to go to the tournament.
Yeah, he is such an important piece. Who are some other players that have you excited so far, Todd?
Well, a lot of the guys returning were guys that we were really excited about, like a guy like Myron Jones, who had some difficulties last year but was really good at Penn State, had some really good success there. We think we're going to get him to bounce back. Guys like Niles Lane showed some great grit and toughness down the stretch, played really well down the stretch for this team, and really elevated their play on the defensive end. Guys like C.J. Felder, Jatobo, guys that are great role players. I think that guys that can be impactful players. And then, we'll see what happens with Kowacie, but I think he's a young man that might end up back with us, and if he does, I think we'll have a really good role for him as well.
Gator basketball fans know that you're known for your analytics and your love for that. How did that come about?
It's a great question. It started early, probably. Growing up, my father was into all sports. Really, baseball and basketball is what I grew up with. So every morning, waking up in the summer with the newspaper there, looking at the box scores and seeing the numbers, and looking at batting averages, home, all these different things, kind of got me into that. And really, in school, I was much better on the math side than the English and reading comprehension side. So obviously I gravitated towards that. And really, as a college basketball player at St. Mary's, Randy Bennett and Kyle Smith devised this, basically this system that they called Hustle Stats, where they evaluated your play and practice based on 40 different stats that they would evaluate after watching the film. And it gave me the opportunity. It was a meritocracy. It gave me an opportunity as a walk-on to be a 3-year starter, and seeing kind of the path that led me on, and understanding the value of, just trying to find edges and incremental values within the margins, kind of led me down that path as a coach as well. And really, we look at things through an analytical lens. We're not in there, all the time crunching numbers on the computer, trying to figure out different things. But really, we're just trying to get as much data as we can on everything from recruiting, in-game lineups, in-game fouling situations, whatever it is, get as much data as we can and make good, educated decisions based off that data.
Todd Golden with us, the Florida basketball coach. All right, you're a rising star in the business. Everybody knew that. You picked Florida. Florida picked you, but you also picked Florida.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, man. I think of Florida as a top 10 job in the country. You have your blue bloods, obviously your Dukes, your Carolinas, your Kansases. But, for Todd Golden and for my family, for my wife and I, for our kids, this is a job that I could legitimately sit back and say, that is a place, I'm not sure there's any job in the country that I would rather be than here. The warm weather, the SEC, being down in Florida, being a place where, there's space to raise our kids. This is about as picture perfect as you can imagine. And so, throughout the year, we were having a lot of success, thought there might be some opportunities out there. for jobs. But when this one became available and Scott reached out about his interest, honestly, it was kind of tunnel vision for me in terms of trying to find a way to get him to believe that I was the man for this job.
Todd, you have some basic tenets, philosophies of each game. Can you share some of those with the Gator fans?
Yeah, in terms of like what our goals are? Yeah, sure. Defensively, we try to get 6 kills in every game. A kill, I define that as getting 3 stops defensively in a row. So if we can get 6 of those over the course of the game, we found that you win about 90 to 95% of your games when you get 6 kills in a game. Obviously a pretty big number there. Then on the rebounding, on the glass, we try to get 33% of our misses back and try to hold teams to get 25% of their misses back, that 8% delta. If you're able to get that, you're generally a top 25-30 rebounding team. And then the last one, which was a really big area we grew over the course of last season, was your turnover rate. We try to maintain a 16% or less turnover rate in the game. So we don't use numbers. We're more percentage-based because that's the best way for us to evaluate. But if we do those 3 things, we're not losing the game.
Has there been any confusion of the USF that you came from versus the University of South Florida?
More so when I was there than here. It's funny I think people around here, obviously, just being geographically located so close that if you say USF around here, they're going to think South Florida. That's a great point. I'll try to just say San Francisco more as we move forward.
Todd, they didn't shoot the ball very well. Myron Jones made everything at Penn State.
Right.
Didn't make everything here.
Right.
Is there an offense? Is there something you can do? Is there an offense that runs that makes that work better? It's a simple question, but we all watched it.
Yeah, no, I think they're the 2 areas that I've identified within this program last year that really held them back from being an NCAA tournament team was they did not shoot the ball nearly well enough. I think 310th in the country. A place like Florida, you shouldn't really be outside the top 50, top 75 in terms of 3-point percentage in any given year. And so I don't know, maybe that was a system issue, maybe that was a personnel issue, but we'll definitely make sure that's changed for next year. And the other area, which was really surprising, was they were a really poor defensive rebounding team. And that's something that, looking back at the players on the roster and the athletes, that just shouldn't have been the case. And so we'll address both those areas and continue to try to get better in the other ones. But, we'll be a team, with the way we like to play. And obviously we'll adjust based on our personnel, but I think we shot the 5th most threes in the country at San Francisco, not USF, but at San Francisco last year. So obviously it's a big part of what we want to do, but we'll make sure that we're putting our guys in the best position possible.
You excited about the blue teams?
Call them plays, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. They told me that I got AR-15 in my squad, so I'm going to try to get creative out there and see what we got. No, this is honestly one of the best parts about coming to a place like Florida. I spent 2 years at Auburn and really enjoyed the camaraderie of the campus, of the athletic department. Football Saturdays, you can't beat them, and being at San Francisco, we didn't have a football team. So we didn't have that excitement in the fall, 6-7 days where it was just all about the school. You'd have 100,000 people on campus, tailgating, getting ready for the games. You can't replicate that without being here. And so this is, I'm super excited for tonight and to be a part of a program that has a football team as good as Billy's going to be able to put product out on the field.
Speaking of Auburn, what are some of the things that you learned from Bruce Pearl? Because it's just the question, what did you learn from Bruce Pearl, I'm sure is too large.
No, it's interesting because I think of, I've been able to work for and play for really good coaches. I think Kyle and Randy are more operational, very attention to detail, really good that way, whereas Bruce is really the exact opposite. He's a lot of energy, gets his guys to, run through a wall for him. Not as attentive to detail, but my goal is to really just merge and be kind of be myself, most importantly, but then kind of get in the middle with both those guys or both those systems, however you want to say it. And if I can do that, we're going to be pretty good. But Bruce, what he did, what I'm going to try to do and replicate here, was he just got the community really excited about the program, even in our first 2 years when we were no good. We weren't winning games, and we were still getting a lot of people to come. And where here, a lot of the heavy lifting has already been done. I think we'll be able to have much better success early on, and then it's just getting people back excited about the program.
I love your comments about SEC football. Our mutual friend Roxy and I have arguments about Pac-12 and SEC forever. I'm now going to text him Golden's an SEC guy. I'm going to make sure he knows that.
I love Roxy. He's one of the best in the business, as you know, but there's really no competition between the SEC and the Pac-12.
Gibby, make sure we have that on tape. I'm going to have to send that out.
You can quote me on that, and anybody who wants to argue that is just probably a little too big of a homer.
I want to go back to Kowacie Reeves for a second.
Okay.
He's on your team. Word comes out that he's going to go to the portal. Then there's all kind of rumors that he's not really going to the portal. What can you tell our Gator fans about that?
You know what? I'm going to focus on Kowacie as a kid. He's an incredible kid. And he is the type of student-athlete that I hope to build this program around. Mm-hmm. He's a great student. He's a great individual. He's never been an issue on campus. He's a great leader, a guy that we want to build around, a guy that will be a great ambassador for the university. And really from a basketball standpoint, I think fits the way we play and what we want to do really, really well. So I think at times – change is hard, right? And change can kind of make us sit back and contemplate things, maybe over-evaluate some certain things. And listen, I have a lot of love for Kowacie. I think he's a great kid. And my hope is that after taking a little step back, he wants to jump back in and be a part of our program, because I think if he does, he'll be really, really successful with us.
Todd Golden, the basketball coach at the University of Florida. Man, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so
Likewise.
much for taking the time. We sure appreciate that.
Good luck out there.
Have fun tonight.
Thank you. We'll try to get this win for the Blue Squad.
Todd Golden, the Florida basketball coach. Back in a moment from the Swamp after this.
Thanks, guys.
So stay with us.
Swamp after this. Thanks, guys.